The responses to the JoyNews series on the state of Ghana's borders of entry has been immediate and consistent. The story dubbed Porous borders began in the Upper West region, where only 2 out of 100 communities which share borders with Burkina Faso and Ivory Coast have a border post. This is in spite of the fact that the two countries have been bedeviled by terrorist attacks and electoral-related violent groups. Upper West correspondent Rafiq Salam started off our series on the state of Ghana's borders with a closer look at the northwestern side of the country's borders with Burkina Faso and Ivory Coast.
The Upper West region is one of the 16 regions of Ghana. It is located at the northwestern corner of Ghana, bounded to Burkina Faso to the north and Ivory Coast to the southwest. It covers a geographical area of 18,476 square kilometers, representing 12.7% of the total land area of Ghana. Until the creation of 6 other regions, it used to be the 7th largest region and made up of 11 municipalities and districts. The region has a projected population of 1 million people. By virtue of its location, the Upper West region has the potential for international and inter-regional trade and other bilateral relations, but the overspill of criminal activities and disaster such as bushfires, diseases and pestilence, armed robbery from the region's neighbors also pose a threat. There is even a more serious issue on hand now: the attacks on churches in Burkina Faso by suspected terrorists raise the alarm bells in the region. Kweku Bawane is a career diplomat and former external intelligence operative stationed in the Middle East. He was one of 4 Ghanaian external intelligence operatives embedded in Lebanon in 1972 to study or cover the problems of terrorism.
If I get 1,000 people and take them to any of those borders, all the 1,000 can actually go across and, each one find a route to get into, Burkina Faso. I'm also saying that the delineation, of the border has not been well done. Nobody actually knows where the latitudes and longitudes belong. Nobody can actually pinpoint where Ghana ends and where Burkina Faso takes over. Farmers have their farms across the border. Those in Ghana have their farms in Burkina. Those in Burkina have their farms in Ghana. They go across for funerals, they go for weddings, they go to the market. So you see, there's a fluid nature of cross-border activity.
There was fear and panic in the region following the arrest of a 51-year-old Burkinabean man during the church service at Hambele a couple of months ago. The arrest of Desiree Biligo and subsequent arrest of another Burkinabean man in Hambele has raised serious questions about the preparedness of the country's security, considering the porous nature of the country's borders, especially the Upper West region. Apart from the 2 official borders located at Tumu and Hambele, there are over 100 communities located close to the Black Volta that are without borders. Residents and other travelers use these unapproved routes either on foot during the dry season and boats during the peak rainy season. Chief Superintendent Abdullahi Zakaria is the Deputy Upper West Commander of the Ghana Immigration Service.
The unapproved routes are entry points that are unofficial, though unofficial, but are being patrolled by our special unit called the Border Patrol Unit. So in that case, we wouldn't say that our borders are porous, and we deploy officers based on intelligence.
The Ministry of National Security, in collaboration with the Upper West Regional Security Council (RECSEC), in its bid to ward off suspected terrorists from the country, deployed contingents of military personnel from the airborne force led by Major Fatau Abdullahi and stationed at the eastern corridor of the region. 3 dozen police personnel from the Foreign Police Unit (FPU) have also been deployed to undisclosed locations in the region to complement the work of the airborne force. Upper West Regional Minister Dr. Hafiz bin Sali, who also doubles as the chairman of the Upper West RECSEC, spoke of plans put in place to make the region safe for the people.
They are not centered in Wa. they are at strategic points where we think that people are likely to try to come into Ghana through. They are stationed there so that there will be a barrier to those persons.
Koku Bawani, however, has doubts about the strategy employed to ward off suspected terrorists from the country.
Where we are sitting right now, we are in Wa. From Wa to Burkina Faso, it's just 25 minutes. In 25 minutes, you are in Burkina Faso. You pass through my house, you go to Dormo, you are in Burkina Faso. By the time we are talking about Burkina Faso, people in Wa are taking to Hamele, and that place is so porous. How many security vehicles are on that road? There's almost nothing. Recently, when there was some support system, we had a formed police unit and some vehicles. Where are they? They have been withdrawn to Accra. What sort of security is that?
They are still on post.
Are they at post? Are they at Dormo?
Some are at Dormo and some are at Hamele.
Are they there right now as we are talking? Have you seen them today? Have you called today? But every district in the Upper West region needs not less than 10 pickups.
For now, the borders are porous. Constructing a fence wall will be too costly and not on the agenda of the government. However, deployment of more intelligence and security officers equipped with the state-of-the-art equipment to communities lying close to the Black Water will maybe put a seal on the porous borders.
They are not well resourced. You go to them, they have no vehicles. When they have vehicles, no tires. When they have tires, there's no petrol. Anytime there's a problem, the politicians want to put pressure on the policemen. It will never work. I repeat, it will never work. Give the security personnel the tools, they will do the job.
In the Upper East region, correspondent Albert Sori focused on Bongofio, a Ghanaian town sharing borders with at least 6 Burkinabe communities. Residents here were terrified hearing about terror attacks in Burkina Faso, half a kilometer away from them.
The Upper East region is located in the northeastern corner of Ghana and is the second smallest of the 16 administrative regions. The region is occupying a total land surface of about 8,842 square kilometers, or 2.7% of the total land area of Ghana. It is bordered by Burkina Faso to the north, Togo to the east, the Upper West region to the west, and the northern region to the south. Some of Ghana's official border posts in the Upper East region are located at Paga, Kulungugu, and Polmakum. At these borders, persons coming into the country are screened thoroughly by immigration and custom officials before they are allowed entry. However, exactly same cannot be said of few in the Bongo district.
But where we are here, you see, this is Jelwongo, just where I'm talking. Because you can just cross here. In Jelwongo, you can just cross here.
Often called Bongofio, this community is neighbor to at least 6 Burkinabe communities, some of which are less than a kilometer away, according to the chief, Naba Ayenaba Azare.
If I just show my left here is Jelwongo. I go here, you go to Zisi and you enter Ziu. You go up there, there is a place called Nargia. There's a place there you can enter Ziu. Jelwongo is Burkina. Zisi, Ziu is Burkina. Nargia, Ziu is Burkina. Yelbia, Yelbisi is Burkina. Subuga, that's Subuga.
Despite this, there is no official border post in the area.
So there have been several times of stealing from Burkina Faso, and we have intercepted them. Terrorism, it can happen. When stealing can happen, why in the night or as the borders are porous and there's no any security man nearby or not permanent. There's a lot of smuggling which is passing here outside the country and into the country. We have been seeing it. Yeah, I've seen it several times. The truck will come at an odd hour and pass it.
There are immigration and customs checkpoints with assigned officers in the area, but the chief believes this is not enough.
They are far away. They are just here during daytime, but in the night you don't see them. And you know how terrorists come in? They pass through the porous route. If not, they pass through the bush. And here we have the bush where they can pass through. So this is what we have seen, that there's a need to have a border post here, and we will work hand in hand.
This place here is one of the end points of the fuel market. It is only about half a kilometer away from one of the closest Burkina Faso communities. Desmond Atambiri is the assemblyman for the fuel electoral area.
You have people taking advantage of this porous nature of the road to smuggle a lot of, especially the area of this planting for food and jobs. The people use this as a transit point for them to smuggle fertilizer out of the town.
He says members of this community were in a state of panic when news broke not too long ago of a terror attack in Burkina Faso.
Day in and day out, because Faso is not far from Burkina, we hear a lot of attacks not far from the border. So when we hear that, we were alarmed, and we were always alert, even in our churches. When we see visitors in our church, we were always intrigued about their presence. So in fact, when the issue was there, people were talking about it. In fact, the people of you were not at ease at all. We were always on tenterhooks. And
the people of Bongo Field believe a well-established border post in the area will not only protect citizens, it will also help generate a lot of revenue for the country.
Now there is already immigration presence. The only thing is that it's challenging because they are few, and from what the chief tells us, these immigration officials don't reside in the community. So at night people go in and come out, and so it's easy for criminal activity to take place without the culprits being easily identified.
In the same Upper East region was the issue of unclear border demarcations as Ghanaian, Togo and Burkina Faso communities contest ownership of part of the land. In fact, the communities feared what has become daily pockets of confusion may escalate into a full-blown conflict if not addressed immediately.
Wedana, one of the border communities in the Pusiga district of the Upper East region. On first visit here on June 15, 2019, it was a busy day as locals made trips across the entry points. Wedana stretches over Burkina Faso, Ghana and Togo. The huge number of visitors offers hope to many residents for business. Just a few meters away from Wedana is a community known as Bimpela, in which the white water flows through. This is one of the many porous entry points in the Wedana area. On our arrival at about 11 a.m. Saturday, June 15, we saw many young guys smuggling goods out of Ghana through the white water. Security personnel are hardly stationed here permanently to check what goes out and what comes in.
According to our parents, the river is in Ghana. But now the Togo people are claiming that the river also belongs to them. So even last 2 years, they nearly fought there.
And because there's no, border post, we find it difficult to, actually know where, the border is. And because of that, we ourselves always find, ourselves quarreling because we don't have a clear, border post that will show that this is Togo, this is Burkina. So sometimes you might be moving into, Burkina, you don't know that you're moving into Burkina. Sometimes you're moving into Togo, you don't know you're moving into Togo.
Just when we were about to leave, these immigration officers on special duty from Accra, our camera captured the personnel seizing goods from the illegal traders from neighboring country Burkina Faso. Salifu Kazoza is the chief of Palmankum.
We are pleading to the governor that he should look that one for us. If not that, one day it will cause a confusion. We don't want confusion to come, so that the governor will now come in to help us. So they are claiming that the places belong to Togo, and we are claiming that the places belong to Ghana. And there too, there is other places, and there is a boundary. If you go, you see the boundary. There is no any problem there. But the place where we can't find the boundary, that place is a problem for us.
Zuberu Abdullahi is the Pusiga District Chief Executive. Mr. Abdullahi says a meeting was held for the three countries to look into the issue. He calls for external intervention to resolve the disagreement immediately.
The fact of the matter is that today, nobody can be able to tell us where the border lines are supposed to be. It is now discretion. These people would say that, oh, our grandfathers told us that this is where the pillar was supposed to be. And these people also tell us that their grandfathers said this is where the pillars are supposed to be. So we have to engage the community members and then the chiefs. And the chiefs among themselves cannot even agree as to where the pillars are supposed to be. We have reported the case to RECSEC, and all other security agencies have reported the case to their authorities.
Related to these problems highlighted is an increase in criminal activities, including armed robbery on the borders in the Upper East region. Perpetrators are cashing in on the absence of a clearly demarcated boundary and lack of cooperation among the security cooperatives there. Mahmoud Muhammad Nuruddin did some digging in 5 of the border towns there.
Criminals capitalize on this porous entry point to commit all manner of illegality. Robbery is becoming the most widespread as residents recount their experiences.
So where I am standing is Ghana, but if you move a bit, some few steps away from where I am standing, up there is Togo. And this is exactly where residents say most crimes have been committed for the past few days.
The incident that happened here is that one of our brothers came from Togo. He went to see one of our relatives there, and he's coming back, and 2 armed robbers just attack him by the river here. When they just crossed him, they removed the gun.
This is one of 2 approved entry points, Pulumankum in the Pusiga district. Officers here declined to speak on record, but they say multiple unapproved entry points and lack of logistics for security personnel here remain the biggest challenge. Only 1 patrol vehicle is available for patrols at the entry points on a daily basis. This is Kulungungu, another approved entry point in the district. Everything here is done perfectly for travelers and vehicle owners. These long trucks carrying onions from Niger have to undergo lots of documentation to be allowed to enter Ghana. Both customs and immigration officials must be alert, as they always make sure checks are done properly on travelers. But just some meters away is another unapproved entry point, providing access to many foreigners who either ride or walk.
So the building you see behind me, these buildings are in Burkina Faso, and far away from my extreme left is the border over there, the Burkina border. And so what happens here is that people can walk in and out of Kulungungu without passing through the border over there.
Last month we experienced this, and we follow a thief who ran inside here, that we can't go after him because he has already crossed the border, and because there's no security here, he can't just pass there. He passed here and walked to Burkina.
There are many unapproved routes both Ghanaians and foreigners use to ply their trade, legal or otherwise. On June 24, 2019, 3 police officers from Togo entered Ghana to arrest a suspected fraudster at Congo in the Timpani district. The officers did not seek any clearance or even collaborate with their Ghanaian counterparts. Reliable sources say the Togolese used one of the unapproved routes to enter the country. Angry residents of Congo attacked the officers and seriously injured one of them and seized the weapon of the other. The Togolese officer was hospitalized, and it took the intervention of Ghanaian security personnel to restore calm. The situation at Mognori in the Boko municipality is not different. These residents are also alert due to proximity to where gunmen from Burkina Faso were spotted a few months ago. They say empowering security personnel to man this area is paramount. This river separates Ghana from Burkina Faso. Just like many porous entry points in the Burkina area, there's a lot of free trade here, and all one needs to do is to be able to cross the river. These young men have taken it upon themselves to monitor and report any suspected individual. They spend almost 6 hours monitoring while helping others with their luggage to cross the river. Isaka Salifu is one of them.
Anytime we spot a suspected criminal, we inform the immigration officers so that they would come and arrest him.
Idrisu Salifu is a Burkinabe but collaborates with the Ghanaian counterparts to report any suspected criminals. Salifu has been working closely with his Ghanaian friends since the news of gun attack in Burkina Faso. From Wedana, Pulmankum, Pulungugu, Bimpela, Mognori, and all other border entry points, both approved and unapproved, the spirit of West African integration comes to life. People walk across the borders to and from Ghana, Burkina Faso and Togo. This can, however, be the Achilles heel of a region grappling with security concerns because criminals explore porous borders to commit crime. There are reported cases of armed robbery along the borders in the Boko area.
After the Upper East and Upper West regions, our attention was drawn to the Northeast region. Confessions by some smugglers and users of unapproved routes, as well as their reasons for doing what they do, were outlined by correspondent Ilyasu Tanko.
The Bunkpurugu-Nankpanduri district shares boundaries in the north with Gari district in the Upper East region, west with the East Mamprusi, south with Gushegu and Triponi district. With an estimated total land size of over 1,200 square kilometers, the district is a leaking gateway with just 2 approved routes and over 20 illegal entry routes from Togo into the country. There is limited presence of security and law enforcement officials at the 2 approved routes found in these communities located in Bunkpurugu and Nankpanduri. On June 13, this is what we encountered at the approved routes from Bunkpurugu to Togo. John Larry is a commercial tricycle driver transporting Ghanaian traders to Togo.
They have taken money. How much? 2 cities. Custom 3 cities. The other barrier 2 cities.
So when you're coming, you have to pay the same thing?
No.
And the Togolese officials too, they take money?
Yes, pay this 5 cities. The other one 5 cities.
Another driver, Gancon Collins, tells me although it's easy to evade border officials through the numerous illegal entry points, he always prefers using the approved route because security personnel will only take some money and allow him to pass.
So we have Ghana borders too, then Togo too. So anytime you are going, then when you come to the custom barrier, any bags you pick, you just give them 5 cities. But only that they consider them take 5 cities, but one is 2 cities, but we always consider them give them 5 cities.
The Oti River slides through communities in Ghana and Togo and serves as the main point for illegal movement. Every day, people use these points at different locations to smuggle and traffic goods into the country. Daniel Yanube details how he has used the unapproved routes many times to smuggle items into Bunkpurugu. Speaking in a Togolese community called Yambori, Daniel showed us one of the unapproved routes through which they enter Ghana illegally.
This road, this main road, is linking up to Bunkpurugu. When you are to pass through to immigration, go to Bunkpurugu, then you take this road to Bunkpurugu. Come to the customs, the Togo soldiers before you now come to immigration and then Ghana customs. Then you go to Bunkpurugu.
So that place, we don't have immigration officers?
No, immigration is not there.
Both immigration and custom officials in the district declined to comment. However, the district chief executive, Alhaji Majid Azuma, says following recent reports of increased terrorist attacks in Burkina Faso, the government has moved in to tighten border security. According to him, special anti-terrorism troops have been deployed to help immigration officers secure the country's borders in the district. Understandably, he will not provide further details about the mission of this special force, but added they are on an operation codenamed Operation Conquest Fist.
If they dispatch men from Accra, especially the IFPU personnel from Accra, with a vehicle, strong vehicle, of course, to come and patrol the borders in the district. Their presence alone, in fact, is very good, building confidence in the people, in the community.
Local Police District Commander, Chief Superintendent Stephen Delaporte, is the leader of the team. He said together with his men, they are ready to counter any terror attacks.
We then turned our attention to the Savannah region. Here, border officials at a town called Chache are on high alert because residents allege former Ivorian rebels are using the booming illegal mining business there to integrate themselves into Ghanaian communities along the border. Correspondent Isaac Nonya has details which also show 10 unapproved routes exist in the area and are usually unmanned, although there is vigilance at the main border.
This gentleman has just crossed over from the Ivorian border into Ghana upon seeing our camera. He wants to find out why we're filming, describing himself as an Ivorian immigration officer. But Ghanaian police officers insisted on proof of his identity, after which he was instructed to return to his country.
We want to follow you there, also see.
That is the kind of vigilance exhibited at the main border here at Chache. But the story at the unapproved routes is completely different. Chache is a suburb of a Bole district in the newly created Savannah region. The western part of the district hosts Ghana's border with a neighbor which has endured a full-scale military conflict in 2011. That's Côte d'Ivoire. It is a farming community with about 2,000 peasant farmers and fisher folk, with which comes petty traders crossing to and fro the two countries every single day. This border is of high security and economic importance to Ghana, given that criminally minded people continue to exploit the violent past of Ivory Coast and significant business activities go on here every day. It seems to require much more attention. At least that was what the first president of Ghana, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, did, establishing and deploying border guards.
The borders draw its source from the Volta Lake, from the central Gonja, and it goes straight direct to the Bui Dam. It's a river that serves as such a border between Ghana and La Côte d'Ivoire.
It is a natural border with a river sourced from the White Volta extending to the Bui and Akonsombo dams. From this water source, Ivory Coast has built a system that distributes water to nearest Ivorian communities. But for the Ghanaian communities on this side, they do not have access to potable water, even though they live by it. Lack of potable water is not the only problem here. Both residents and border officials posted here grapple with unmotorable roads and terrible communication networks on a daily basis.
It rained for about almost 10 or 12 hours and all here was flooded. It wiped away a certain woman who sells around the boundary of the river. It wiped away here. About 5 tubers of yarn was washed away. We don't have life jackets. We patrol. But our challenge is the road network. So they've been patrolling the most often. But because of the road network, sometimes they find it difficult to go around there.
That is Zonal NADMO Director for Chache, Afisata Abdullahi, with a list of the problems. In an emergency, persons will need to travel to Mandarin or Bole, the capital, before accessing network to make a phone call. Besides the main border here in Chache, there are 10 other unapproved routes in this small farming community, and they are patronized by hundreds of people, both Ghanaian and non-Ghanaian. Dollar Power is one of these unapproved routes. It is a hub for illegal mining, hence the name Dollar Power, and records of smuggling and other criminal activity here abound. In 2012, a military officer was shot and killed while escorting then DCE for the area, James Jeka, in Waka Waka, one of the communities here in Dollar Power. In 2014, some sub-chiefs were abducted by rebels from Côte d'Ivoire's rebels. This happened in Tuna in the Sola Tuna Kaba district in the then northern region of Ghana. Residents here are mostly a mix of Ivorian, Togolese and Ghanaians due to intermarriages and movement of people across the border.
There's free movement. We go there, they come here. Like the next village across, Vonkoro. Most of them have married from Ghana, so we can speak the Safalaba language easily. But they don't understand the Gonja language very well. I don't think even Vonkoro. Even the chief of Vonkoro is from Sonyo. The mother is from Sonyo. So that's why I'm saying that the intermarriages have made us, we cannot cut ourselves from them.
Mustafa Idrisu is a Ghanaian and has come to the border today to receive his aunt, who is now Ivorian. She's attending the funeral of Mustafa's brother. Here, people virtually live in both countries at the time, with their bedrooms in Ghana and their offices or farms in Cote d'Ivoire. I left the main border knowing the security personnel there were on high alert, but for the 10 unapproved routes here in Chache, they remain unguarded.